John, how's it going?
Doing well. How are you doing?
Good, good. Good to see you. Ready for our walk?
Sure.
Yeah, it's a beautiful day for it, huh?
Perfect.
Yeah, love it, love it. So first off, I know you're obviously, you're a math teacher here. Just tell me a little bit more about yourself. What really got you into teaching?
Well, you know what? I had many different professional career options. I actually was a high school dropout, and when I joined the Navy, it kind of exposed me to a wider world. And so that was really the beginning of my education. And so when I wound up getting out of the Navy, I got out of the Navy and I became a wage slave.
Right.
And I worked for many years with just my high school equivalency. And I wound up believing and finding out that I could do more than I was doing. So I wound up going back to school, and I became middle management kind of thing. And then I was an entrepreneur where I had my own business and I sold graphics, but that wasn't quite fulfilling. And so my wife had this brilliant idea, you're really good with kids. And I said, kids? Really? And she said, yeah, you should be a teacher. I said, I don't like kids, but I did. And I found out that I really enjoyed the time that I was able to work with them. And so I went to finish up my high school, my college education, became a teacher, and I wound up here at East Rock 15 years ago. 16 years ago now, I was just hired.
Wow.
And so I became a math teacher, and I've been working with kids ever since, and it's been a great job.
That's awesome. That's a great story. I love to hear it. Tell me a little about the after-school program here you're working with.
So I've been working with kids after school for many years. I've done a math counts program, which is a middle school mathematics enrichment program, and I've run a personal D&D group after school with the kids. So and the kids that we have need more time in school, and if I can make that time in school more enjoyable, that's really what I love. And so we mix the fun and the mathematics, and we have a good time. There's snacks involved, there's some fellowship, but it's about like kids having fun, kids learning something, kids broadening their perspectives on the world.
Nice, love that. Big Dungeons and Dragons fan, huh?
I am.
Yeah.
I've been playing since. Well, I won't put a timeline on that,
right.
But it's been for many, many years.
That's funny. I love that. Now, tell me maybe a little bit about some of the obstacles that you notice a lot of your students have to overcome, outside of just learning.
Well, a lot of kids in New Haven, they're coming from impoverished homes,
right.
And so they don't necessarily have the same opportunities, even that I had. And listen, I grew up in a very affluent town in Connecticut, so there were always options for students to do different things after school if you chose to. I was working after school since I was 13, so I wound up, that was how I got involved with different kinds of views. Like, I worked on an estate for some very wealthy people. So I was exposed to different things to broaden my horizons. And I grew up in a house where, education was the focus. If I didn't perform grade-wise, I wasn't working money-wise.
Right.
So that I think the kids in New Haven, the kids that I teach, they need more than just the mathematics. They need the social and emotional support
yeah.
that we can get, as many as we can give them. So, athletics is great. I love that. That mathematics is great. I love that. But I want to see kids have more of an opportunity to just find out who they are.
That's great. Now, you touched upon those aspects outside of learning. What are some things that you guys teach that aren't really like normal
academics
that you would find? Yeah.
One of the things that we really try to focus on is how to talk to each other, how to get along. You know, as far as, you know, one of the things that I love is about playing games is, you know, playing games and is about solving problems. And so, you know, it really is a direct application to what happens later in life. If you can figure out probabilities, can I make it if I press the gas in the car and get into traffic or not? And so these are skills that kids need to be aware of, and how they can, if they can really quickly make decisions, it's really helpful for them. And getting as much information is really helpful.
That's cool. Now, do you see any of these things kind of maybe becoming the norm of the curriculum? Whereas they wouldn't need?
It's funny, you know, one of the newest things that we've had since the pandemic is we've integrated a social and emotional learning component to our school day, and I've found that to be really helpful. A lot of kids do need an opportunity to talk about the things that are bothering them, whether it's me or each other, but giving them some space to do that is really important. So I would imagine this is part of that. Like, we're giving kids opportunities to grow in different ways, not just academically, but as, you know, functioning members of our society.
And now, you know, with all these different things, these useful tools you're giving them, do you kind of see these kids turning to you to look as almost like a role model?
Well, you know, this is the time of year where kids start filtering back into our classrooms and into schools to see us. And you know, it's very rewarding and enriching to see a kid who you had a couple years ago or 5 years ago come back to you and give you a hug, you know, and that shows me and it tells me that they were touched by something that happened in the classroom, and it's something that they look back at this 7th and 8th, you know, these are 12-year-old kids, 13-year-old children, and this is something they remember fondly. And if that's all I get, that's fine. But I think that's one of the benefits I get. One of the benefits that they get is not just a good memory, but I think an opportunity to learn a brand new set of skills.
Nice. And finally, last question here. Could you describe maybe your most rewarding moment working with these kids?
You know what? Week after week after week, having a group of girls and boys come and sit in my classroom and roll dice and have imaginative play and, you know, like get excited over, you know, some made up scenario that I came up with, and having them want to do it again and again and again really was rewarding. Okay, there were snacks involved and there was juices and things like that, but they were there for something that they weren't going to get anywhere else in my classroom or in our school. I know it happens in other schools around, but like, I have to say I'm the best. No one DMs like I do.
Yeah.